And I'm an electrical engineer who fell into the quantum world when I had a dark night of the soul in 2016. It was a very brutal, very quick, rapid awakening that pushed me into a different reality. And that's what I've been playing in ever since. So this talk is, as with all my talks, it has to do with the way quantum physics meshes with consciousness and expanding our awareness, our presence, our energy, getting in touch with our energy bodies, and learning how to play with the energy in the field so that we can create the life that we all want. And that's what this is about. This is the first of what will hopefully be many series every Tuesday and Thursday. So, no, excuse me, it's every first and third Thursday of the month. Siri and I are going to come together and do this. I'll talk about something, and she's going to create channel art that resonates with what I'm talking about. I think it's fabulous. So, with that said, Siri, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Take it away.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Siri. I live in Norway. I paint and I draw and I channel, like Sabine said. And we met not just long ago, and it's been really magical so far. And we've been talking, and I've been channeling, and the art is just coming through. So I'm really looking forward to being doing this with you tonight, because I've been on Inside Timer since 2019 or 18, and I'm dreaming about doing live painting without talking. Somebody else can talk for me, and then there you are. So I really hope you guys enjoy this. And it's strange because I can't see I'm live because we're on Zoom, and I can't see the comment field, which I'm used to. So I pray to this will just work just fine. So
That's right.
just
Totally frees you up, doesn't it?
yeah, it does.
That's
I
great.
can do whatever I want to, and you can talk and ramble on.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
We're actually going to start with a brief meditation. Oh, but before we start, I wanted to mention one of the really great things about what Siri does. This is so fascinating. She showed me a picture last time we were talking. I think it was Monday this week or whatnot. We were running some tests. She drew me in one of her pictures. When was that you created that?
It was this spring. I didn't know what I was drawing. It just is a pen drawing. I was just doodling and I was just channeling like I always do. I doodle just for fun, just to have something to do. Instead of people smoking, I draw. So I was just playing along, and there was a face and the cube and the tree, and now we're doing all these tree song meditations. So I draw the future closer to me. That's what I do without knowing it. So in the background of that picture, right in the center, is your face, Sabine, which is really magical. And I
Uh,
hope we can share it somewhere later.
yes, we
So
will. We'll share that. It's just, but this is the perfect example of what we
yeah,
can do as we step into our power and become more empowered. Um, Carrie, would you do me a favor, love? To kind of jot down questions or just people at the end of this. We'll have a Q&A. And I don't want to pay attention to the comments right now because it'll just get me off
mm,
focus. Um, all right. So today's topic, the topic of this is interesting. I stopped trying to come up with topics. I was leading a circle group locally here in St. Petersburg last year, and I found that I did much better if I just let the topic come to me. And that takes a little bit of faith. I had never done live groups like that before, and I had people coming from all over St. Pete to this huge house out on the island. The whole thing just kind of came about. You have to trust because one of them in particular, I didn't get it until the very night before. And that one caused a ripple effect that was absolutely fascinating. It has to do with chaos. And I'll talk about chaos someday. But today what I wanted to talk about, what came through, is it has to do with perception. What are we not seeing? What are we not perceiving in our lives? And it's huge. I'll tell you that there's a tremendous amount. Now we know this from science in terms of our brains are taking in megabits of information, but our mind, our brain can only process like 1 megabit or something like that. Don't quote me on these numbers. It's just a fraction of what we're exposed to. is what we're reacting to and responding to because we simply cannot handle that much data. But it's there. It's there in the subconscious and it's there in the field, as it were. Don't know if I've mentioned the field. I'll touch on that real quick. So the quantum field or the 0 point field is that's the realm of infinite possibilities. And this is where manifestation, this is where we can create from. And we learn to tap into the field. And because there's no time, and now we're learning, recently I came across that at the proper small scales, even space goes away. So no time, no space. When we dip into the quantum realm, we can play with time and we can play with space. This is why people can channel. This is why people can have done, foretelling events and whatnot. The reason is because, or you can call it the Akashic Records. The reason is because everything is already there. Past, present, and future, those are just time linear scales that we humans need to function and perceive. It's already there. It's all already there. So when people learn to tap in, that's all they're doing is just they're tapping into information that already exists, which is incredibly fascinating. And it's also has the potential to be massively empowering. And I believe that there's a lot working with us right now to help us become empowered. It's in the air, it's in the energy of Gaia and of our solar system right now, in our universe, that this is happening on this planet at this time. And it's, to me, the way I perceive it is it's a rebirth, it's a remembering of what we used to know, we as beings on this planet, and probably other planets too, but what we used to know, we're now re-remembering. And the reason is because we are elevating right now on this journey to be able to handle that, to be able to handle what we're now learning how to do and tap into. So it has to do with perception. And I'm trying to keep this one focused, which is always a challenge for me. So our ability to perceive, the more that we can perceive, the more we can start influencing. And I think that's a really important transition that, we cannot expect to be able to influence something when we can't actually perceive it. So we're going to start this with a meditation, which this is a meditation, again, auspiciously. I did not plan it this way, but it's the Hunter's Moon here. And I think that's a really interesting timing for Siri and I to start creating together during the Hunter's Moon. It's a Hunter's full moon, and full moons are always about letting go of that which doesn't serve us anymore. So I'm just putting that out there as a side seed, because this process that we're going to do, that I will be walking you through here shortly, is using our chakras. And this is a perception exercise. So what you're going to be doing, let me get this music started just so you guys can tell me if it's acceptable level. I don't want it too loud, obviously. Okay, so what we're going to do, again, this is perception. And the best way to learn something is just to practice it and try it. If you've done any of my energy center flow meditations out there, this will be somewhat familiar to you, but it is not something I've done before. It came to me in the wee hours of the morning, as most of my stuff does. I want you to relax, get yourself comfortable. And I want you to become aware of each chakra as I call it out. I'm going to start with the root. So just focus your attention on your root chakra. See if you can feel it, perceive it, detect its presence. Keep playing with that a little bit. I just want you to play with that. Now, if you can or can't, they're both okay, but let me tell you something. Once you start being able to detect your energy centers, you get to play with them. And it's extraordinary. They are ascensions of their own kind. They like to play. They get moody at times, just like the rest of us. It's really interesting. There's a world of wisdom to be tapped into here. So just go with it. If you can experience it, that's great. If you can't, it's okay. It's perfect. Practice will get you there. So the root chakra. Checking in, checking in. and feel it. Now focus on your sacral, which is just above the root, just below your belly button. Yes. If you're really visual like I am, the root is red, the sacral is orange. I tend to see them as semi-transparent, lucent balls of energy. There it is. Let's see. I'm moving up to the solar plexus. It's just in the abdomen above the belly button. Solar plexus is yellow. This is interesting. I can tell we're doing this as a group. It's quite fascinating. And that's quantum entanglement. We can talk about. Okay, and then the heart, which is green. I swear I'm feeling some of y'all's hearts too. Y'all, I just said y'all. So the heart is green. Good. Now the throat. Throat is blue, sorry. Okay. Third eye. Violet. All of these energy centers are magical. Good. And then the crown. Indigo. What we're going to do, hold all of these beautiful energy centers in your awareness. If you're visual, see them as I do. And we're going to start gently. I want you to expand all of them. And the amount of expansion, we got a lot of energy here. The amount of expansion is a very individual thing. But you're pushing out gently. You'll come to a natural place to stop at some point. Just expand. Be present. Notice what you're feeling. Within and without of your physical body, your energy body is active and expanded beyond. Okay, now, bring them in. Now we're contracting out of the rhythm of the universe and life. Bring it in. Out. Bring it in. And to the best of your ability, shrink them down smaller than their regular size. And feel that. Do you feel the difference in and around your body? Music is getting louder. That's not possible. I'm sorry, you're hallucinating. Focus on your bodies right now. The contraction is crazy. That just made it. It's about as low as I can get it. The contraction of energy here, that could have just been me talking lower too. To me, it feels very thin. All right, now we're gonna out again. Breathe according to your natural rhythm. Breathe in and out deeper if you need to. As we expand outward, expand all of your chakras outward in 360 degrees around your body. They're crossing in and morphing with each other. They're merging into this field around you. We all have this energetic toroid that exists around us at all time anyways. We're playing with that energy. We're playing with that flow right now. I can feel it outside. It's crazy. It's wonderful. Expand it outward to give you some time here and pay attention to what you're feeling and experiencing. Good. Now bring it in. Bring it in. This time, don't contract. Just bring it into its natural, where it wants to be, where it wants to stay. And once again, let's check in. Check in with your root. Just bring your attention, your awareness to your root, to your sacral. Upwards to your solar plexus. Your heart. Your throat. The third eye. And finally, the crown. That was a trip. Quite literally. I could feel so much presence. I was doing this morning just before I got out of bed, and it was great. I've been practicing this for some time, but doing this as a group, wow. I just got to say that was it. And I want to hear from you guys now before I go into my talk. Let me know, how was that for you? What did you or did you not experience? That was so powerful. Yeah, Carrie, right there with you. Of course, Carrie's been working with me for a couple of years now, so. Excuse me, Carrie's been playing with me for a couple of years now. Melinda, yeah, could definitely feel it. Good. Come on, guys, pipe up. I really want your feedback. It'll help me fine tune. I'll do meditations around this. I'll do a class around it if you want. Yeah, it's interesting, Melinda. A lot of people can't visualize, and that's okay. So for you, feeling it, that's you've got a sense that it's primarily your way of reception, and that's for you what you want to focus on. Joan could really notice a difference. Yeah, it's extraordinary. This is a power of coming together with attention and intention, which makes it so important. And I think this is ultimately the evolution of humanity. This is how we get from the quagmire that we're living in right now into the world of higher dimensions where love is primary, and we're all growing and learning together. No more wars, none of this stuff. Hi, Jane. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Well, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, powerful energy. I'll be doing more group meditations for sure. This one I wasn't planning on, but if it wants to happen, it happens. Okay, and that's a really good indication, because this is how we communicate with our own energy bodies. When you got to the throat chakra, everything I felt needed to clear my throat. It was interesting, yeah. And that has a lot to do with what we are or are not saying, speaking our truth or not speaking our truth. I use a BioWell. It's a Kirlian photography device that allows me to measure people's biofield. Almost inevitably, most women have this thing radiating out from their neck, the spikes of energy radiating out of their neck. And it's because they have a lot of truth, a lot of words that they're not speaking. They're not able to speak their truth. It's quite fascinating. This was an exercise in perception. This was an exercise to get you to realize that within you, within each of us, is this community, this energy-based community. And when we start learning to communicate with it, it's really kind of crazy. I'm convinced that all of the aches and pains that we have, I'm pushing 60 now, and I've got a fair number of aches and pains, but when I speak to them, when I focus on it and give it attention and put my intention and attention on releasing that pain, it's worked wonders. It's phenomenal. I mean, supposedly I'm bone on my knees. God knows what's going on with my hip. It does. But I've stopped taking any shots. I've got more mobility now than I've had in years, and it's all because I'm speaking to my energy body. I'm listening to my energy body. So yeah, that will be a big part of it. But again, before we can do this, we have to learn to perceive. And it's perceiving what our body is telling us. When our bodies are giving us pain, that's a gross level of communication. That's like the last, it's like, okay, you're not hearing me, you're not listening to me. I'm going to make you hurt now so that you will pay attention to me. So as we learn to read the more subtle energy within our bodies and become aware of that, then we don't have to have the pain. We can play with it. And again, these energy centers, they're starting to play with me. They're starting to orchestrate what we're doing sometimes. The energy flow meditations that I have here on Insight Timer, great way to play. But when your body starts playing with you, then it's really interesting. So this expand and contract that came through this morning, that's what they were doing. I thought it was going to flow like I always do, and I realized, wait a minute, that's not what's happening. What's going on? They were expanding, and then they were contracting, and it was so that was the first time for me this morning, and it was like, whoa, that's really cool. That's interesting, because it does, to speak to, didn't write down the name. Sorry, I'll get better at the names. To speak to the comment earlier about feeling like a weight was lifted off when you contract, it's a shift energetically, absolutely. And exercises like this, so aside from us being able to communicate with our energy bodies, it's going to eventually allow you to start perceiving more and more of the communication from the universe. And what do I mean by that? I mean, when you start looking and paying attention, the universe is always giving us breadcrumbs, giving us clues, where to go, when to go. As you start increasing and elevating your energy, and I've got an energy elevation meditation out there too. If you haven't done it, please do. You will feel it. If you felt anything today, you will feel as you literally elevate your energy. So as we do this, we're elevating our energy. And the reason we want to do that is so that we're resonating at a higher frequency. And as we resonate at a higher frequency, we have access to higher dimensions and the information that is contained within the 0 point field. Accessing it, being able to perceive it, is the first step for us to be able to make physical changes in our reality, manifestation and whatnot. You got to walk before you run, right? Before we walk, we crawl. So start wherever you're at with that attention and intention of elevating your energy. And there's such a whole world out there because we have to deal with reality as it is now. We all have the real life aspects that we're contend with children and partners and health and illness. And in our case, two hurricanes in under 2 weeks. That all causes stress, and it causes different energetic factors. As you take this journey, you're probably going to be more empathic if you're not already. It's part of the package. And there's a lot of ways that we learn to sort of protect ourselves, shield ourselves when necessary as things are happening in our real life. So perception is the first step. Being able to play with your energy body heightens your ability to be able to perceive. Now, I'm going to talk about something, holy crap, pardon my French. Sorry, it's 12:44 already. I want to touch on something that I get asked fairly frequently from the clients working with me as we're doing this energy work, and that is this perception, which is an accurate one. How do I keep the bad spirits away? Well, I'm using that term loosely. It's just energetics, but certainly uncomfortable energetics from our human perspective. How do I keep that away? In my experience, it's love. Love as a not a romantic love. This is unconditional love. This is the love of source. This is the universal love. And that was part of my journey in the beginning. Because when I was so confused and utterly lost and didn't understand what was going on, I was seeing and perceiving life in a completely different way. The engineer brain was thinking it was all woo woo and I was going crazy. What kept me on course was the love. It was source just pulling into me and tapping into me and basically hugging me and telling me it's okay. It's okay. You're going to be okay. Just keep going. Just keep going. You're on the right path. Just keep going. And that love is what protects me all the time. And let me give you a really hardcore example of this, beautiful example of this. And time, it really starts morphing in strange ways. It doesn't, you don't have to think of it linearly anymore. The story I'm about to tell you happened when I was in my early 20s. I'm in California, just before the Loma Prieta earthquake. I was really into lucid dreaming, and I had had, as a child, nightmares my entire life. During that time, I think it was right before my lucid dreaming breakthroughs, I had a nightmare. And it was the normal thing, like a dark room, a dark space, and there's this big black cloud that's coming at me and coming for me. And I turned around to run, as I always did in this dream. And then I stopped. And I said, no. And I turned around and I faced this dark cloud. And I just felt love in my heart. And I dove into it like a diver does into a pool, right? My hands are up here. And I dove right into that black, scary thing. And it was gone. And I never had that dream again. Love protected me. Now, I've had some similar dreams that were equally terrifying. So it should have been terrifying. They weren't actually. But every time when something was coming at me or I was being restrained, it was love. I just love it. I love whatever's coming at me. And it either goes away or it changes its form. It's quite extraordinary. So that if you're worried about that in any way, shape, or form, it's love. It's opening your heart and feeling the love. That is the ultimate power of the 0 point field, is love. And again, going back to the beginning, the first step is learning how to perceive, to enhance and increase and elevate your perception of what's going on around you. So Peter, as I meditate more and more most of the time, I can feel the energy in my body, mostly in the head area and fingers. When I have an off day where I can feel my energy is low, how do I deal with that? Okay, well, right now what I'm getting is feeling it all in your head and your fingers is interesting. What we want to do, even early on, is focus on balance. Now, I was this way. It's interesting, Peter, because when I first started my journey, it was the upper chakras that and the heart that were like most active and online, as it were, and that I could feel the most. Virtually nothing in my lower three chakras. And that's interesting. So that's the grounding. That's our grounding to Gaia. And that connection, again, I've got a flow out there that flows between Gaia and Source. That connection is really key. It's the chi, it's the flow. So you could have blockages in your lower chakras, which is going to make you a lot more susceptible to energy ups and downs. And there's another aspect to that as well, that I believe there are slipstreams that we get caught into. When things are going on, okay, 9/11, worldwide, mega slipstream of people being affected by what was happening. Same thing with wars and whatnot. 2 hurricanes here in St. Petersburg. It's been interesting, and there's a fatigue that sets in, even for me, that it's a normal part of de-stressing, and we need to allow our bodies to be able to do that in whatever way is natural to them. But Peter, I would work with all of your energy centers. and get to where you can start tapping into all of them and imagine that flow, because attention with intention, get that flow moving. And then you're going to find that now you're going to be feeling it in your hands and your feet and your knees and everywhere. We actually have energy centers throughout our body. The seven primary ones are just that, the seven primary ones that everyone knows. We have a lot more above and below us. So definitely work with the getting all of the energy centers online, as it were, and allow yourself to access that. Things will start to unfold quite naturally when you do this. You're going to start getting your own answers eventually, and then you can just play with people. It's so much fun. That's funny.
That's the reason.
Okay, well, you guys are going to have to tell me what Siri's saying because I can't hear her. You can lift it
I
up
can.
and show it.
Hello, everyone.
I'll shut up.
I'm so sorry. Our tech side is not working. It was working brilliantly prior to our live, so I'm very happy that you actually are able to see this, because this is what I do. I channel whatever energy is in the room, what is energy is in between me and the participant, and you guys, and obviously Sabine, and me myself. I am in my studio with my colors, and as you can see, this is a circle because before Sabine opens her mouth, I pick up the energy in her intentions, and she was starting off with a circle. So I felt that I needed to go circle wise, and I didn't know she was talking about the chakras. So I started picking out colors. I started with the blue, and that resonates with her talking because it's a throat chakra. And then all the colors just came in, and they accidentally, seemingly accidentally, but very, very synchronous with her speaking, came to the paper, and they are mixing and floating, expanding and contracting to according to what she was telling you. So any questions to me, please write them in the comment field. I am used to doing lives and talking about the technical side of the painting. If you want to do that, that is also a great way to help yourself with your chakras. So Peter, I was listening, and I was having the same symptoms many, many years ago with the head and the hands. And I embed my paintings with my energy when I paint, and also afterwards, just feeling the colors and the vibrations in this sphere of energy here on the paper. So go ahead and ask some questions, and I'll answer them if you want to try and see if the text side is with us. Thank you. Over to you, Sabine.
Okay, I think she just handed it back to me, judging by the hand gestures. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, root chakra, grounded. Okay. I would start with two-step process. You want to get in touch with your root chakra. You need to play with being able to sense it. And this goes true for all of the chakras. It's being able to sense them and connect with them. And for grounding, ground. Take your shoes off. Put them on the floor as close to the ground. If you can get outside, do. And attention and intention. Focus on the energy from the root going from you to Gaia, from you to Gaia, and then from Gaia up, back up again. And again, do this with all of your chakras, guys. There's wisdom in Gaia. So when we start doing this, flowing our energy down, Gaia can read what's going on within us and make energetic adjustments to help us, to balance us. And so when we flow the energy back up from Gaia, we're getting this enhanced energy. Same thing when we're flowing from Source and Gaia at the same time. The energetics from above and below are assisting us, assisting our energetic and therefore physical bodies. Oh, okay. So yellow and green, that's your solar plexus and your heart. So there's communication there, and there's a message there. So what I would do is to meditate on that and bring in all of the things that are relevant to you. So aside from the chakras, what do those colors mean to you? What do they signify to you? What does the heart mean to you? And what does the solar plexus mean to you? What is your understanding of that now? because the communication is always geared to us where we're at right now on our growth, which is why it can change and shift so brilliantly over time. So focus on the heart, on the solar plexus, on those two colors, and what that means to you in this time. When you get it, you'll feel it. You're going to feel the resonance when you trip over the right thing. And it could be that it's deficiency. It could be that they want more attention. It could be a nourishment in a food that Siri went through this actually because she had a thing going on with her solar plexus. Before we talked, and I picked up on that, she had purchased a bright yellow parka, perfect for the solar plexus. And she had a bunch of yellow around her, again, nourishing the solar plexus. So play with that too. And again, it's all about you being able to start perceiving this. And I can give you hints, I can give you clues from what I perceive, but ultimately I'm more interested in everybody becoming their own receiver and transmitter. Melinda, question for you. Melinda, Siri, sorry. Question for you from Melinda. She's wondering about the red dot.
The red dot is the root chakra. I was pointing to it as Sabine was talking about the root chakra. And that red dot also is the root chakra, both of them. Yeah, grounding to the earth.
Okay, yeah, Peter. We're a little over, that's okay. Track for lucid dreaming. Okay, so this is interesting though, because woke me up with a nightmare when they changed the voice tone. Yeah, I'm really sensitive to that too in frequency ranges when I'm sleeping. The interesting thing though is that you started to take a trip, as it were, because of the nightmare. And this is the lucid dreaming. It can take us places like that as well. So I think you need to clear some stuff out. I think there's something that you need to release. That you okay? So Hunter's Moon. There's something that you need to release that'll stop those nightmares, and it's your heart. Something with your heart. Does that resonate at all, Peter? Yeah, something with your heart that you need to release. Meditate on that, and feel free to reach out to me too. We can go deeper on that, on how to find out what's there. Because then when you get that clear, your lucid dreams are going to be it's like flying. And I have had so many incredible, amazing experiences, and I've also been taken places, which is really interesting. But I feel like there's something stuck there. All right, I'm gonna let this go for now. Siri and I, as I said, we're gonna be doing this the first and third Thursdays of every month. All right, guys, Hunter's Moon. Release whatever does not serve you, and know that we're on this journey together. Siri just blows me away with what she does and what she can do with just on the fly. And I'm so honored to be working and playing with Siri. And I'm honored that you guys showed up. Thank you so much for that. And that's it. We'll see you next time. I hope everyone has an amazing, beautiful rest of your evening or rest of your day, wherever you're at. And I love you all.
Me
Namaste.
too. Me too. I love you all.